Hello, and thank you so very much for joining me today. I am going to be doing a Reiki pulling cord cutting on you and your aura. So I'm going to be starting with my black tourmaline arrowhead. And what we want to do is we want to do some ASMR triggers so we can kind of confront any shadows and anything that's buried deep within you, whether it's stored trauma in the body from emotional abuse, any type of stored trauma from narcissistic triangulation, character smear campaigns, or any type of just projections from, like those archonic intruders that kind of get in your head and like negatively like influence you. We're going to be pulling that out in energy today. So when I pull and find the cord, I'm going to start pulling, and then you're going to inhale, and then as I cut, you're going to exhale. This is my black tourmaline smoky arrowhead. It's a smoky quartz tourmaline, and it protects you from any negative energy projections. If you've been a target, if you've been bullied, if you're different from other people and they make fun of your gifts or they target you in some way, or you've been full on attacked, I would highly recommend keeping black tourmaline as well as selenite around you to protect you from kind of like the archonic projections from other people, whether it's negative energy manipulating, energy harvesters, and things like this. So we are going to pull and cut. So what you want to do is you want to affirm your energetic boundaries and say, I am energetically fortified. My energetic boundaries and my aura are fortified. I am strong. I am the creator of my life. I call all of my energy and my power back to me that was stolen from me. I call all of my energy and power back to me and my destiny back to me that was siphoned from me from energy vampires, negative energy manipulators. I call all of my power, my energy back to me across all timelines, dimensions, realms, across all the 4 directions. And so it is. So when you do this, you declare it into the universe, okay, my energetic boundaries are protected. I am fortified. My aura is clean. And then what you want to do is you want to keep selenite around you like this. And then you want to put it with the black tourmaline or the smoky quartz. And what this will do is it will counteract any type of negativity attacks. So if someone's trying to think, and if they're thinking negative of you, or if, someone's spreading like false rumors about you, and then it's like inflicting on others, like it's projecting onto others, you want to use the selenite to cleanse your energetic frequency in the atmosphere you're in, and you want to reclaim your power and call your power back to you. So what we do here is we take the beautiful chevron amethyst, okay, and then you can ask it to protect you, like, please protect my dreams. Please protect my energetic frequency. Please protect my aura. And we also can pull with this. So I also want to do some pulling and cutting with the smoky quartz and the black tourmaline, which is really, really important. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out of your aura and I'm going to blow it away. So I'm using both my selenite rods with the black tourmaline. And this is very essential if you're getting character smear campaigned, if your character has been defamed in people's eyes, if you're getting character assassination on you, and these attacks are kind of just growing, and they're infiltrating through the masses. So that's why if they are negative energy vampires and they energetically suck your aura, suck your chi life force energy, and they're kind of manipulating people against you, you want to go in energetically, and you want to go to a Reiki master like me, and you want to go and pull, and we're going to blow it out like this. Pull, and then we're going to take it, and then as I pull, I want you to inhale, and then as I blow, I want you to release and exhale it out of you. And this is how you get rid of it energetically, because what happens is it starts acquiring over months and years and weeks, to the point where you're starting to feel it. You're starting to feel it affect your, not just your aura, but you're starting to feel it affect you physically. If you start having like heart palpitations, you don't know, it could manifest into these negative energy like hooks in your physical vessel. So this is why we cut cords and we clear from the energetic vampires, because they're very detrimental to not only your energetic health, but to your mental and emotional health, as well as your physical vessel. And what they do is that they hook into you energetically, and then they find ways to stay there. So it's an exchange of energy to where like they suck your cord, your chi life force energy out of you, and then you're left feeling distressed or fatigued or tired, or like you start having breathing problems or heart problems, and then they just kind of like go about their lives just like not having their own energy frequency, because energy vampires are not born with a godlight, but they also don't have a purpose. So that's why they archon into you and they suck your chi life force energy, and then they take that energy, and then you're feeling left tired in bed, feeling confused. They hook into your pineal gland area, and then they just take that energy, like your good energy that they're sucking from you, and then they're taking it just to live like these basic on the surface, like whatever thriving lives just to get by, to where you're like, okay, what is happening? And then like sometimes energy vampires will go into you and they'll hook into your mental state, to the point where they will start shape-shifting your thoughts and energy depending on how deep this energy vampire, like how deep you let the energy vampire in, you know what I mean? Or like how deep it's like, they kind of get in there and they archonically like influence you. So this is why we pull and we suck it out. And I have a really good tool right here, which is amazing, to where it sucks out the energy. So this is this white selenite in accordance with this, I think this is black tourmaline. Yeah, black tourmaline, as well as it's an organite. So organites, they are good at sucking like magnetic energy cords and ties. And then I'm going to take my arrowhead and I'm going to slice it. So what you want to do is you want to take it and then you want to slice. So like it magnetically attracts that negative energy out and it destroys it. But as I pull the negative energy, I also can destroy with this black tourmaline smoky quartz, arrowhead, to the point where, it sucks out the negative energy attacks from others, to where like, people will run in groups. They'll think like, oh, okay, like from their human ego, okay, like I'm going to talk about this person today. And then they're like, that will be something. And then it was like, they will change the way you look in someone else's eyes, to where it will be that original energy vampire's projection of like the villain of you in their story, to the point where you will be feeling left drained. Sometimes it can manifest in headaches for you or migraines. So it's important if we clear this. So we're going to pull and we're going to slice. So we're going to pull like this and we're going to slice. We're going to pull and we're going to slice. We're going to pull like this and we're going to slice. Pull and slice. Pull and slice. And also what energy vampires will do often is they won't confront their own shadows. So they'll always be attacking you because they're jealous of your gifts, or they're jealous of your talents, or they're jealous of your looks. It could be just your beauty or your aura, your energetic frequency. And they need to take from that. So then they'll not only damage and ruin your reputation in other people's eyes, but they will also siphon you to where you're feeling this energetic headache drain, to the point where you start getting migraines and you start like slowly morphing out of, and away from your light and your talent and your purpose. And it's like they kind of shape shift your pineal gland to where you start feeling heavy, emotional like them, bad like them, and fatigued, while they sit there and they suck your chi life force energy out of you. So we're just going to use this, suck it out like a magnet, and we're going to cut. We're going to use this to suck out like a magnet, and we're going to cut. So this is what we do. Us as Reiki healers and Shamanesses, spiritual teachers, okay, I've been doing this for a very long time. I'm a shamaness, I'm a medicine woman healer, I'm an energy worker, okay? I've had past lives on many realms, to the point where I know what's up. Like, I know someone's vibe, I know someone's frequency, I know somebody's bad intentions. I could feel like these narcissistic hooks and these projections from energy vampires. Like, for instance, I will use a personal story that happened to me. if you will. So this was in my targeted individual, videos, but I just feel like today we're in the full moon of Leo, like releasing portal. And so what this does is right now we want to talk about things that are like deep ingrained in us, whether it's attacks from others or, their projections. Like energy vampires, like one thing is that they love to hide behind their masks. They love to hide behind, you know, your gifts to where they will destiny swap you. So what one will do in a family, if it's a generational curse from energy vampires that brought it there, that archonic projection of manipulation will be ingrained into your mind to the point where you start not even embodying your own talents and gifts, and you're sitting there taking on the energy vampires like vital role that they want you to play in their story. So if an energy vampire comes up from a state and then they archon themselves into your family, and then you're just kind of like living your life, and like everything rapidly changes. So like just say for instance, like your parents used to have parties, your mom and dad used to cook, they would love each other, there was a lot of light, and a lot of that family stability and that love and that balance in the house. And then all of a sudden an energy vampire comes up, and then your parents trust them and they let this energy vampire in your house, right? And this person is low vibrational. That person changes the whole house to the point where like the light goes out of the house, it gets really dark in the house. Energy vampires are not clean, so like they kind of archon into you to where like they will use you not only for your house, but they'll have you clean for them. They'll have you like, they will leech off of your energy to the point where it's just like, everything, it's like you, before you know it, they morph into your life and they completely spin the reality, and they spin the destiny of you and them. So like they're like soul sucking archon destiny swappers to the point where you have to keep your environment clean, and you have to keep these types of lower vibrational energies out of the house. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep pulling. So like something that happened to me a long time ago was my ex-brother-in-law came into the house, and he was very much an energy vampire, and he has spirit attachments attached to him. So he has these 3 dark spirit men, and my parents allowed this person into my house, but he saw that my dad wasn't being medicated. He was supposed to be medicated. My mom was a fiduciary. She wasn't responsible enough to enforce that medication on my father. So the energy vampire just kept manipulating them, as well as, my sister, because she also is a dark feminine. She's like Erish Kegel to the point where like I'm goddess Inanna. So it's like darkness and then it's like light. So it's like that whole dark force took over my childhood environment. And then I have a brother who's 6 years older, and then they procreated 2 children, and then they have spirit attachments that they were born with. So like this darkness infiltrated the house, and it chased the light out of the house to the point where, there was like German cockroaches in the house. There was messes everywhere. The kids were like running around in diapers, like newspapers, like Dorito chip bags everywhere. It was like fucking, roaches, like fucking everywhere, like invading the house. So it's like, this is just one example for you guys, as like energy vampires, when they get into your environment, they shift everything. They shift your physical reality, then they know how to manipulate, and they know how to destiny swap. So what is a destiny swap? So just say that you're not the favorite child. Just say you're the scapegoat. Or just say that the energy vampire archoned into your mother, and then literally changed the way that she viewed you to the point where she starts acting like the archonic energy vampire because of his manipulation. So he pushes this false narrative of you onto her, and then she eats it up, and then she starts treating you in the way the energy vampire intended for you to be treated. Okay, and then what they do is they destiny swap you to the point where they'll ruin your life. They will try to portray like a mask, okay, of your reputation, and project it onto other people. So like if they paint you the villain in their story and you're a scapegoat, they'll scapegoat you. They'll set you up. Like if you have, people like in the house, they will train those people to go against you. Okay, so like they will feed them lies of a story to make that person not like you, not say hello, not be friendly, and just be like, you could feel the vibe. Or like for instance, the energy vampires, like they will completely like come up, and you'll just be like, trying to raise your kids and live your life. And then they will think that, okay, well, this is my territory. And then they'll act from like human ego to the point where they'll try to claim that territory, to the point where they will archonically hook into, a landlord and be like, and feed her like negative stories and narratives of you for years and years. Whether you move to hotels, whether you're there, they will always go and act like a snitch, okay? And they will snitch, and then they will use these false, like, these falsities that are not even true, and then they will push this on to the person they're trying to manipulate about you, to the point where it's called narcissistic triangulation and narcissistic abuse, to where that person who's listening on the other side that they're trying to manipulate will get the reality of you twisted, and then they will start fighting their battles and take on the energy vampire's anger or ill will and harbor that for themselves, to where that person will start engaging with the energy vampire to attack you, whether it's attack your character, verbally abuse you and scream at you one day, attack your children, set them up and be like, oh, she sold $100 bill, and then they place it underneath the pillow and set the own child up, or put a hammer over your baby's clothes and then lied about it to the police and twisted the narratives. So this is the type of energy vampire. It's called energy vampire archonic abuse, as well as it ties into narcissistic smear campaigns, and it ties into narcissistic triangulation and character assassination. And then when your name gets defamed, and the energy vampires, they'll keep this up. They'll do this to the neighbors, okay? They will do this to people at your children's school, and they will like lie and carefully script your narrative and twist it so out of control that they have people in your school now going against you. They will have people on the street going against you. They will even go as far as to ruin your reputation, to even try to get you, what is it called? Like exiled from the house. And they will even try to go and swear under oath and put you in the hospital and say your spiritual gifts are false, you're crazy, and then they will try to lock you up. And then the whole time, it's like, oh, well, that energy vampire harmed my son, he put formaldehyde and like poop in his high chair, and my son got a really, really, really high abnormal fever and started, hyperventilating, to the point where my son almost died, and 2 EMTs and 2 nurses and a doctor had to hold him down and give him all these injections, you know what I mean? To the point where they will literally do this to ruin your life, like if you're not careful, and if you're not strong enough, because I feel like a father and a mother are supposed to protect their offspring, okay? They're not supposed to allow any harm's way in the child's life. They're not supposed to attack the child. They're not supposed to set the child up. They're not supposed to attack or let anyone attack their grandchildren. So if you've been like narcissistically abused, if you've had your name defamed, this is why I'm putting this out there, if you had narcissistic triangulation on you, if you've had any type of abuse, verbal abuse, or like, wrongful character assassinations against you, your name being defamed, it's important to understand that this is not your fault. You need to get to a safe place, and you need to separate yourself, especially if it's getting physical like that with your children. If you need to get a restraining order, like whatever you need to do, like sometimes if like, yes, you come to heal with these and everything, but if you need to get a restraining order, or if you need to do something to protect you and your children, or just your well-being, by all means, you know what I'm saying? Do what you have to do. Take the measures to protect yourself, okay? But I'm saying that if, the energy vampires like archonically start manipulating, you start seeing just like regular people just turning on you, or just not treating you as they used to treat you, that an energy vampire said some wicked lies about you, okay? And then what they'll do is they will try to ruin your life on the inside, and then they'll blame you for it, and then they'll put their wrongful destiny onto you, and they'll, you know what I mean? They'll be like the energy vampires in my life, they like were in and out of psych wards like over 100 times. They had really bad drug problems, like drug addictions, and then they technically weren't even supposed to have their children, by the state or whatever. But when me and my children grew up, because I was 10 years, I'm a decade younger, to the point where I guess they were so unhealed still, and they didn't want my children in my dad's house, to the point where I had to take measures, and I had to start, protecting me and my babies, because, when an energy vampire is throwing knives, like, right in front of your daughter's head, and when she's like burning your face with a cigarette, okay? And when she's like literally calling you like profanity names, and you have your baby in your arms, and then she kicks you and throws food at your door and throws glass candles, and then like her son like starts ripping the door handles off of your car, and then it's like the landlord or the mother starts to engage in these things, and then she will start attacking you too, to where your clothes will go missing. They'll start marking your clothes up in the dryer. Like, all of this happens to me and my children, so I'm able to share to you so you can better, make arrangements to do what you need to do, because sometimes there'll be groups of energy vampires when this archonic negative energy will spread in the minds of people, and what the energy vampires will do is they'll project on you to the point where they'll get away with so many injustices, and then the other energy vampires will sit there and protect them, like to the police, and then they'll turn the police and the firefighters against you with their manipulative reptilian tongues, to the point where it'll make you look like you're crazy, and then they will use it against you later and be like, oh, you can't even take care of your kids. Where are your kids? Okay, well, my kids never got taken away from me by the state. I passed the urine test. I freely gave my children to a deputy to have their father pick them up. The state never took my kids away, okay? So energy vampires will destiny swap you, and they will attack you, and they will invade your privacy. So like, I highly suggest keeping a like secret camera in your personal area, because even when you leave, they will go through the door. Some of them will punch holes in the door. They will break into your room with knives or like cards or however they can get in, and then your things will start going missing. Trust me, this happened to me and my kids for years, and now I'm educating the masses about energy vampire and narcissistic triangulation, as well as character defamation, and character assassination, because you guys really need to know the truth about all of this, okay? It's very vital, to the point where if you let one person into your life, they could literally ruin the generations to come. So let's talk about generational curses and how we can break them. So what is a generational curse, okay? A generational curse is when somebody is in the family, okay, and there's past anger, and there's past depression, or there's alcoholism, or there's something dark in the family, and then this repeats itself over generations, okay? Or a problem in relationships, or like maybe a murder that happened, and then someone's so heavy inside that they cannot, like, grief let it go. So what happens is that passes down through the bloodlines, to the point where you need to at one point, a shaman or a healer, a shamaness, is going to be born into that family, to where they know they're the chosen one, and they're going to break the curse, okay? So like, whether you call yourself a healer, whether you call yourself a clairvoyant, a psychic visionary, whether you call yourself a claircognizant, clear knowing, a psychic knowing, a clairaudient, psychic hearing, clairsentient, psychic feeling, whatever gift you embody, you have the power to break that generational curse, starting with you. This can even be past stored trauma, to where it passes down in generations, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to suck this out, and we're going to cut. So I'm going to use Archangel right here, Metatron, okay? And I'm going to magnetically pull these generational curses literally out, and I'm going to cut. So right here, just like this. So like, what it's doing is it's magnetically attracting those cords into it, because it's an organite. It's got copper, it's got aluminum, and it's got all of these to counteract EMF, to counteract pollutants, to counteract all of that negativity, that character defamation, that character assassination, that negativity. And what it does is it transmutes it, it attracts it, and then it transmutes the darkness to the light. This is why I love organites and orgone domes, because this just automatically just sucks it right out, okay? As well as selenite. Selenite is amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling and blowing with the selenite, because, sometimes, like, there's always those people in the family to where they will try to twist the narrative of you in other people's minds to the point where, like, they'll do it very sneakily and very, like, under, like, snakes in the grass, so where, like, they will talk so much shit about you and harbor so much ill will to the point where, like, it spreads. They spread it down the neighborhood. They spread it to their friends. So, like, when people come around you, they look at you like this. You feel a vibe. You catch them making the evil eye at you. So let's talk about evil eye. What is the evil eye? So this can manifest as health problems. Okay, the evil eye is something that if you harbor ill will for someone, whether it's envy, which ties into jealousy or competition or any type of ill will, and you look at that person like in a specific body part, and if you're not energetically protected, okay, you're going to get body pains in your shoulder blade. You're going to get headaches. This can really wreak havoc on your chakras, your meridians, as well as your physical vessel. And then, it starts to manifest as these things. So what we want to do right now is we are going to cut the cords from your base chakra now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my arrowhead and I'm going to take this organite, and it's going to suck, since it has the coils in here, the aluminum, it's going to suck out all that negativity from your base chakra. It's red, and that is the color of your base chakra. So what is your base chakra? It stems from security, stability, familial relationships, romantic relationships, interpersonal relationships. So what we want to do is we're just cutting this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go up to your sacral chakra, which goes up to your creativity and all of this, and we're going to pull this out and chop it. We're going to pull. So, like, what is your sacral chakra? This governs all of your reproductive organs. Okay, it governs your yoni space. It governs your, your reproduction, your creativity, your ability to create, okay? So now I'm going to move up to your solar plexus chakra, which is 2 inches to the left of your navel or belly button. So this chakra center is yellow, and it regulates your self-esteem, your self-worth, okay? It regulates your self-accomplishments, okay? So, like, if you have, like, a degree or if you started a project and it's ultra completely successful. And this one's really important because it builds on, like, not only your accomplishments, but what you really genuinely, how you view yourself. And, when you view yourself with self-love and that God or that goddess energy, and you fill yourself up with that type of esteem, because you and I, like, we are gods and goddesses. So we are the creators of our own life. So we're going to take it, and I'm going to use this part of it, and I'm going to suck it out, the yellow part. And also, if people wreak havoc on your name, if they do character defamation, if they do any type of narcissistic smear campaign or, character assassination, or they ruin your stuff, they rip the wings off your archangel statues, they throw glass candles, like, towards your baby, and they do all this stuff, remember that this has nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with the emptiness and the hatred that fuels within them. So remember that you are not the problem. I want everyone to know, okay, and this is a channeled message, that if somebody is really giving you a hard time in life and they just won't stop, that means that they're so deeply flawed and they hate themselves so much to the point where they're projecting it on you or you and your kids. This has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them, because they're doing it. You're not going to see high vibrational people who vibe up on 6D go and ruin someone's day or throw someone's stuff away. You're not going to see someone, vibing on, like, 6 to 12D go up to a high vibrational person, go up to a lower vibrational person. No, you're going to see the lower vibrational people wreak havoc, and they do this behind closed doors to the point where they will hide your stuff. Like I said, they'll throw your herb bags in the lake, they'll trash your candles, they'll steal your stuff, your things will go missing, and then they'll damage your stuff. So they'll damage your car, you know what I mean? They'll damage everything. And to the point where they will twist the narratives in even cops' minds, and then if they're manipulative with their tongue enough, and confident enough, they will literally go to the cops and the firefighters and to the courthouse, and they will do all of this to the point where they're so deeply flawed and they need so much help. And it was never about you in the first place. It was always a deep wounding within them, to the point where I've had someone who was jealous of me, my own sister, be jealous of me and tell me she was jealous of me in 2015, to the point where she fucking tried to sleep with my ex. She tried to sleep with my twin flame. Okay, she told me she got money from him. She burned my face with a cigarette. She blamed it on her doing meth. I mean, these energy vampire behaviors and like all of this had happened. She burned my face in front of two of my daughters. Um, her sons came up and they literally falsely put me in the hospital. One of them like swore under oath as a Baker Act, saying my spiritual gifts were crazy, to the point where he twisted the cops' narratives of me, and I had to call my kids' fathers to come and get them because of her jealousy within her, and it fueled her to ruin my life, just like Urish Kegel, like how she burned my face, how Urish Kegel kills Inanna. She was basically trying to kill me. And like one time she ran at me in front of her kids and my kids and then her son, and he had to stop her because it was like, this like 200-pound woman fucking running at me, and it was just like he had to literally catch her, and he's like, I don't know if he's 5'11" or 6 foot, but and then what they will do is they will cover this up and they will sweep everything under the rug, and then they'll make it be like it's your problem and you're the problem. They make it seem like you are the problem, and they never take accountability for what they did. They never say sorry. You never get any of the stuff back that they stole. So it's like you're left cleaning up this mess that they created for you, all because of that one person who was jealous. So they're very manipulative and very, very shrewd, to the point where they will not take accountability. They will never say sorry, and what they will do is they will invite friends and be around their friends and then spit these false narratives to you, to their friends, to the point where their friends start believing them, and then it's like everything starts being shallow, and the next thing you know, like the energy vampires will laugh and then they'll feed off of your energy, and then they know that they do it, but they do it anyway because they feel like they can, you know what I mean? And it's so wrong. And what they do is that they're setting up negative karma for themselves. They set up very negative karma. So what I notice about the energy vampires here who've damaged my stuff, who ruined my reputation wrongfully to, the cops, and he swore under oath in front of the judge, and he was like, oh, her spiritual gifts are crazy. She's going around lighting candles, and she's a harm to everyone. And literally they had bed bugs in the house at one point. I lived in a hotel. They had German cockroaches in the house for years. I was gone in my apartment. I had an apartment. I had to babysit my sister's kids. I had to see my sister through so much drug use and drug addiction, to where like she has a complete mental illness and personality disorder because she abused drugs, and she was so manipulative, and she was such a dark feminine. So like this is why on my YouTube channel I'm able to do my Reiki cord clearings. I'm able to talk about trauma bonding, narcissistic abuse, narcissistic smear campaigns. Okay, I'm here to enlighten you about, using my experiences to show you, okay, if she's still breathing, to the point where, you can too. To the point where her son did that because I had to protect my children, okay, from her throwing knives over their heads and her burning my face in front of my kids. I had to protect my baby. She was throwing glass candles. She was throwing glass candles at the sliding glass door, to the point where my baby, it could have broken through the glass and hit my baby. Okay, and to the point where she was throwing food at the door. Like, who does that? So I had to start Baker acting her before all of this to protect my children from harm's way. And then her son, whose puppy right there, it keeps barking that they're trapping in the cage, and it's like they use this puppy as a weapon to try to like rage bait me, to the point where I get out of my element and then I start acting out of character so they could be like, oh, she blew up again. So rage baiting and energy harvesting, let's talk about that. Rage baiting and energy harvesting is when somebody gets you out of your calm serenity element, and then boom, all of a sudden, like they say something or they do something to take you out and make you upset or make you bothered. Because just say, okay, here's the rage baiter coming, right? He's low vibrational, or she. Okay, I've had my sister do this many times to me, to where like she will rage bait the shit out of me when I was younger, to the point where she'll eat my food, she'll like laugh about it, like she will talk about me and then she'll like laugh about it, or like, she'll try to take my children and turn them against me, like with buying them clothes with her disability check. And then she'll have my kids following her around all night where I'm trying to take care of the baby, you know what I'm saying, and stay in the room. And my children are like being pulled here and there. And what these people they do this to animals and babies. They use them as weapons, and then they project onto your character how bad you are, and then they will literally rage bait you to the point where you yell. So what I notice about energy vampires in my direct reality is when they can't face the truth, they start hanging around people. So they will like host Bible studies in the house. Bunch of people, they'll bring their friends over, they'll surround themselves with other people so they won't have to deal with their guilt about what they did to you behind closed doors to, you know, get your kids to go to their dads and never live here again, you know what I mean? Or they have to spin a false reality and spin your character so far out of control to the point where, you know, they surround themselves with people and Bible studies or like whatever, so they don't have to deal with, okay, I ruined her life. Or they will spite you every day, and then they will just be like, okay, I was in the kitchen making eggplant yesterday. I was cooking eggplant, and literally I was nice, and I saw one of my rage baiter narcissistic caregivers, and I was nice. I guess I was people pleasing and I didn't mean to, and I was like, "Oh yeah, your coat looks really nice." Da 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 da. But I was being genuine, and then she starts attacking me saying, "Oh, well, your daughter like never had her hair fixed," because I was like, "Oh, I was making conversation about um how's the pastor's wife?" And then she came for me and was just like, "Well, you know her because I had a Bible study in the house, but you were always leaving because you're such, you're this or you're that." And then she'll critique you. So this is like a narcissistic mother wound. So it's a narcissist mother wound. This is why I enlighten you and I make you aware, because, unfortunately, my mother is not emotionally available for me. She's only emotionally available for my nephews and my sister. And with me, she acts completely different, to the point where she will literally be in denial about the way she treats me and my kids to my face, but under, like, behind closed doors, she knows that she favors them. So, like, she lets them get away with anything that they want, whether it's like drug use, having strippers in the house, you know what I'm saying, taking the car that she gave to me away from me when I was pregnant, threatening me to call the cops and say it was stolen, so my histrionic sister, my schizophrenic sister, can have the car. And then, like, some things like this. So it's just like, when it's in your family, energy vampirism, I was manipulated as well as in Davenport, to where the point was I was pregnant. I had gotten away from them. I had met somebody. We were in love, and then they needed like energy. So what they did was they called my childhood friend from high school. They said that they were going to threaten me with the cops, to saying that, oh, you cannot have the car, even though she gave it to me, because she was like, okay, here's the keys to your car. And then she had my brother's car after he died, to the point where when my sister came back and like her boyfriend broke up with her or whatever, and she came back, she wanted a car so she can go and see her boyfriend. So what she did was she manipulated my mother, and then like they devised this plan to where, okay, well, I'm gonna call Nezzy, that was my childhood friend that we were at the time repairing a relationship before they came from me and tried to do this humiliation narcissistic smear campaign, to where my friend said that, oh, your mom and your sister are like threatening, they said they're going to call the cops if you don't return the car. And they lied to my friend, saying that it was a stolen car, but my mother had given it to me. And then she changed her narrative and was like, I never gave it to you, but she gave it to me. And she gave it to me after my brother passed away, when she was gone from the house, because she's a dark feminine, to the point where she was like, do you want to drive the kids to school in your new car today? And she was like dangling the keys, as so things like this. So when you are from narcissistic caregivers who are very selfish and egotistical, to the point where, like, I mean selfish, like they can't take accountability for the emotional or the verbal abuse, or even burning your face, the physical abuse, or any sexual trauma that they had you around sexual caregivers who were like sexual predators, and they can't take responsibility or accountability for that, but they know what they did and they know what environment they had you in around your crackhead brother-in-law, your Chester molester father, and so on and so forth. And then they keep enabling this cord, and then they keep damaging you. Okay, that's like when they start bringing in people, and they're just like, I'm going to keep attacking her and keep attacking her and keep attacking her, to the point where they all just engage together. And this is called secular witchcraft. Okay. There was also another ploy that I wanted to share with you, to the point where I had my mother go up to my daughter's guidance counselor and lie to the guidance counselor about me twisting, and this is a form of destiny swapping. She destiny swapped me and my sister, and she did this to her friend who was alive at the time, named Riza. She told Riza and the guidance counselor on separate occasions that I had my sister's mental illness, and my sister was fine like me. So I was just like, okay. So she destiny swapped us. So it made me look bad in those eyes. You know what I'm saying? To the point where if she treated me bad yesterday when I made eggplant and I was being nice and I shared my food with her, and then she started coming for me, critiquing me. This is a narcissist mother. What they do is they will be like, oh, well, they'll look at your stomach and they'll give you the evil eye in your stomach, and then you'll feel the ill will wish, like, oh, so you want me to gain weight, and I'm not gonna be doing this obesity eating, like, and which is a form of monitoring spirits, which I want to talk about. Or she will critique me and be like, oh, well, the reason why, this is what she said, the reason why my friend cut off your daughter's hair was because you never did it. And she'll make you like feel small, or make you feel like you're always doing something wrong. And then that will start inflicting wounds on your self-esteem and your psyche, to where you're sitting there and you feel confused and you feel bad. And that's another energy vampire archon attack. Or she'll like trap you home all the day and then give your narcissistic, mentally ill sister the car, to where you have to walk everywhere. You know what I mean? And then like she'll tell all of her friends like, oh no, this one's fine, but that one's not. And then she'll destiny swap you, to the point where she will put the golden child up here and make it seem like her life is fine and dandy. The whole time behind wraps, they've damaged your life. They've damaged your reputation. They've damaged your physical things, your crystals in the lake, your herbals, your herb bags in the lake, I've had my nephew key my mini fridge and push it over. And then I've had his mother not only run at me, but I've also had one of them, I'm not sure till this day who it was, but they put a very hot sauce in my baby's noodles, to the point where my baby got really sick for months. And then they put that formaldehyde and that dog poop, bird poop into his high chair, to where he was getting very high fevers. And they'd flip the narratives and say bad things about me, to where like whoever they would talk to would turn on me. And it's a very narcissistic like abuse attack, to where they do it now, to where like yesterday my mom came for me, and then like today she has her friends over, or yesterday, or like she had her friends over, and then like she came for me, you know what I'm saying? And then like she'll like avoid taking accountability. Or like this morning, like my nephew and my sister were on the patio talking about me, and I felt the vibe. And then they would be like vibing in the kitchen, and they would be like all happy. Or like my sister would order food for everyone, but I won't be invited. I won't be allowed to eat it. Like certain things like that. Or they won't say hi. They will be just so like nasty. Like, so what the point is to get all of this out. So these selenite rods right here are good for clearing negative energy. And then like my mother, she'll paint like my character to be so bad in other people's eyes that I sense it, and I sense the way that they behave towards me. So at this point, like I don't engage. I disengage at this point. So like that type of abuse will make you disengage to all of their people, because they start treating you really bad. Like you could feel the energy. You could feel like, them turned on you, which, she painted as the wrong sister in her eyes, like being damaged. You know what I'm saying? To the point where you're just like, okay, you guys all talk about me. You don't like me. Then why should I be here? So like for instance, she was like yesterday, she goes like this. Oh, well, every time I hosted a Bible study, like, you left. Like, you're so uncaring. And I'm just like, no, but I was going through deep shit, and don't even act like, being a single mom is hell. And don't even act like you weren't sitting there to all those people in your Bible study and you fed them some fake BS narrative of my character to make me look bad, and to make, and be harmful on my character in some way. Like it gets that bad, to where like if you have a narcissistic caregiver, which doesn't even have to always fall under energy vampirism. Sometimes they're just deeply unhealed, because hurt people, okay? To where Today, I was being attacked. This is another attack right here. I was being attacked this morning with their smear campaign on my name out on the patio when they had like their secret family meeting. I was attacked yesterday in the fucking kitchen with all of her critiques, you know, and her put downs and like her like it was like verbal abuse, critiquing. And then she would do it in front of my nephew, and he would get entertained, and then it would feed his energy to where he would be happy with the way she's treating me so bad. So it's like this domino effect, and I have to speak out about this because this is such the truth. And I've been dealing with such fucking energy abuse for you can get energetic abuse. Okay, energetic abuse is real. It's not just physical, emotional, mental abuse. It's called energy abuse, to where energy vampires abuse you. They took advantage of me. They could take advantage of you if you're in if you're in a state of you're being a single mom and you're trying to find housing. And you see this single mom with children, and then what they do is they start using children as a weapon, and then they start buying your children things. So your children's running to them, and then your children start to hear their narratives that they're talking amongst each other, that that they're saying like slander and gossip and lies behind your back, and your children are with them. So then it starts to change the views of the way your children see you. But then later when they're older, like my kids, like my first 3 kids, they know, and even my baby knows, but my first 3 kids, they know like how the family is. So at this point I've made agreements saying, okay, Juan Carlos, you keep the baby over there. I say, okay, Carly, keep the girls. I don't want them in this house. I want you to protect my children from the evil and the awful, like, damage, the narcissistic abuse, all of, how our things were getting ruined and broken. So at this point, I would rather have my children be in a safe environment, away from my nephew, away from the psychological abuse and the sick cycle, because I'm protecting my children's psyche, to where they're sitting there lying to people saying, oh, she couldn't even take care of her kids. Oh, DCF took them. No, DCF never took my kids. I passed the urine tests, and I had Yiza Mena, who is a sheriff. I had her call Carly. We were already co-parenting, but I had her call Carly to have and her permanently talk to him for the permanent, okay, take the kids to you and your wife's apartment now. Because me and him, we were together for 6 years, but our twin flame connection got attacked, okay? To where my sister tried to sleep with my twin flame. Then she lied when she had her black boyfriend, David. And then she lied and pushed the narrative that I tried to sleep with him. I would never do that. This is not in my character. And then like they will use my beauty and be like, oh, well, see, she's so beautiful. She uses it as vanity. And they'll be so like, I'm not a vain person. I'm a Reiki master, a shamaness teacher, a medicine woman. And I've been doing this work for many, many, many years, to the point where I had my own energy channel, and my nephew ruined that too. He ruined my sun goddess magic herbal bags, like my alchemy bags. He threw all of my herbs in the lake that I used to make archangel healing bags. After my brother's addiction, I found him the first time of his overdose, and I called 911. He was seizuring and foaming at the mouth, and they said that he basically was about to, pass, to the point where he was on a rolly bed in the ICU in the ER, to the point where, they were like, he's going to die. And then I asked Archangel Raphael to come, and I remember lighting a St. Jude candle and praying to Archangel Raphael, as well as the prayer on that. And then not even that, but I would put green aventurine crystals, and I would put them literally around the candle, and I would bring organza bags like this and ask Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael to heal my brother. And they literally brought my brother back to life the first time. And the reason why my brother had all of these addictions was because of Matthew, my ex-brother-in-law. He brought this darkness, this energy vampirism, and this poison into the family. So it was a lot of wrongful things that this man had done. And it's been so harmful, not only mentally, physically, and emotionally, but energetically. So they could shapeshift the whole dynamic of your family and place a generational curse into your family, to where now, okay, this generational curse has to be broken, So I'm going to be pulling with this arrowhead. And then they make themselves like they're like numb. Like to everyone else, it looks like they have everything together, but they're really just flawed, broken individuals hurt inside. And then they'll still do it. They will still talk shit about you, or they will still harbor ill will about you. And then they'll tell everyone like false narratives like, oh, she can't even take care of her kids, or when the kids were here, she's not doing this. And it's just like, you really were, but what about your energy vampire sister who you married a drug addict to, who literally procreated two awful energies, who were abusing your granddaughters and your, baby boy Caleb, your grandson, and your daughter, and she was fighting to stay alive being a single mom with all of that mental torture and these spiritual attacks, and you literally have the audacity to prey on her vulnerability when she was a vulnerable single mom, and then blame her for not having her own place, not having a job, when she was sitting there trying to take care of her children and her baby and protect them from these energy vampires and their, stealing of her things, abusing her children mentally, emotionally, and putting them in so much harm's way, to the point where, they really have got it twisted. And then the people who engage with them, they get sucked into this energetic web to the point where they don't treat you right. And I feel the vibes. I feel it to the point where I know exactly who they talk to about me. I see exactly the way the energy feels when that person, like when I see the person, and I can tell like, okay, they've said something about me that was false. And I can't change their minds back. I don't want to convince anyone at this point. I'm at the point where I'm just like, okay, you want me to be the angel in your story? That's never the case. I am an earth angel incarnate, actually. You want me to be the villain in your story? Okay, take it then. Like, whatever. So, like, I have to talk about this and be expressive and tell the truth, to the point where they have me looking like, basically, my mother reversed me and my sister's destiny, is what she did. To the point where she ruined the destiny. So I'm going to just take a sip here. I was going to make some juice and just start juicing. And like right now, like my mother's here, but tell me why she won't let my nephew's dog out of the cage? Exactly. It's like another like ploy to try to bother me and rage bait me. It's like energy harvesting, to where like they take my energy and then it's just like they like, try to get a rise out of me, which is called rage baiting. To the point where I don't like allow it anymore, but I'm allowed to speak on this, so I'm going to use my voice. You know what I mean? And they do it knowing I have a YouTube channel, knowing I'm an energy healer, knowing I'm a high priestess. Just like black tourmaline can take things out too. So I'm pulling out this negative energy. And they'll do everything to try to like suck your energy or make you feel worse so they can feel better. You see? So it's an exchange of cords. And it's like my family, they have been taking advantage of my sensitivity, my gifts, me being a single mom in a vulnerable place for a very long time. And they unknowingly built negative karma for their next lives and the rest of this one. Because I'm telling you, when that negative karma comes, and it comes in your health, or it comes in your next life as a child in Malaysia walking to 10 to 12 miles in the hot sun to school every day, it's going to be like, it's going to hit them, and they unknowingly did all of this to themselves. They built that karma for them, that negative karma, which I'm starting to feel like, okay, it was something from my head, and I chopped it off. So, like, right now, yesterday, like, my mother tried to attack me in the kitchen. She tried to verbally attack me with her reptilian tongue, to the point where when I started calling her out on things and I started telling the truth and speaking my voice and speaking the truth that really happened, she walked away. And then it's just like she will just constantly surround herself with people to sweep that guilt under the rug. Like she won't be able to be alone, or she'll surround herself with my nephew or my sister. You know what I mean? So it's something that I've had to deal with. This is why I'm the way that I am, because I'm very strong. I'm built from the flames. And they try to make you feel inadequate. They try to press their insecurities on you. They try to block you from job interviews. They try to do character defamation to your friends back in high school that you're trying to like repair your relationship with, and they'll try to humiliate you. Okay, and this ties into the plaza. Or they'll try to do things to try to push you out of the house. And my dad wouldn't like that. My dad is always around me spiritually. And yes, like he was kind of a rotten person, but I had to forgive him for him to get his angel wings and kind of take him out of that dark place. And so to the point where I did forgive him. And now he's always coming to me spiritually because he's out of that pit, that black pit, because he was a lost soul because of things that he did in this life. So when he came out of that pit and I forgave him, now he's always telling me spiritually, like, I don't want the Buchanans in my house, like, do something about it. And he's been telling me this for like 2.5, 3 years, to the point where there was a cop that told me, like, look, if she's attacking you, she was just like, you need to get a restraining order, you need to Baker Act her, you need to do this, you can do this. So I was taking her advice, but then with all of them ganging up against me together, and how her son came up and literally wrongfully he swore under the judge and said my spiritual gifts were crazy and I was using witchcraft on them. And basically the judge were my mother and him conspired, like it's energy vampire hell from Matthew Buchanan, which was his father, to the point where they conspired and they got me hospitalized for 5 days. And my sister's the one with the mental illnesses. I'm very mentally strong, so I was getting just very attacked from every which way, and it was secular witchcraft. I was also getting attacked from my ex's like longtime friend named Carmen. She's actually in prison now getting her karma for what she did to me and our family. So she broke up me and Juan Carlos and took that beautiful Champions Gate house away because she gave him drinks and drinks and drinks at a party with Jose, Vanessa, and Tati, these Santeras and these high priests, to where he acted like a different person and he got a foreclosure on his house. Tell me what real estate broker gets a foreclosure on their house? Yep. So it's just a lot of nonsense like that. So I do my Reiki healings and cleansings. And they don't like it. They don't like that I'm a light worker. They don't like I'm a goddess incarnate. My mother doesn't even appreciate that I have her grandma's gifts of a shamaness and I'm a healer. And she never appreciates like my gifts. Like she cannot, for the life of her, be like, oh, something's good in her. Like, I'm proud of you. She can't ever tell me anything optimistic. It's always got to be a put down or a critique or, some sort of like verbal put down to try to make me feel like shit because she feels like shit inside and she can't face it. So it's just like my sister too, to where like my sister, she'll blast rap music in the house knowing I'm doing videos. She'll scream through her son's bedroom door, and you don't need to talk that loud. It's so like you could hear it like with the puppy, and you could hear it from my past videos to how thin the walls are here. And they'll talk loud to be just like oblivious to the obvious, to just be like very like, they're energy vampires, so they need all the attention on them. They need to suck your chi life force energy. I think they know they do it, and they do it to rage bait. There will be spiritualists to say that they don't. My mother didn't want to be alone in the house with me today, I guess, because she knew I would call her out on her bullshit if she came for me, and she comes for me a lot, like verbally, to the point where she had to invite people that she fed a narrative to them, and I don't think they like me very much. After my sister and her sons got my children and I to leave here wrongfully, just because I was protecting my kids. You know what I'm saying? It was wrongful how her son came up from Palm Coast or Jacksonville or wherever he was and lied and swore under oath just because I had to Marchman Act his brother because he was having acid around my kids, and I had to Baker Act my sister. She was throwing knives and glass by my daughters and my baby and I had to protect myself. And then it was just like, before you knew it, their narcissist slick-ass tongues manipulated everything. So now their narratives are, oh, she still didn't get her kids back. She came and take care of her kids. You see this? And they talk shit behind my back, and it's not even true. It's lies. And these people are just eating them up. You know what I mean? To the point where they also, so my sister should have never had her children. Her kids, they're crackhead babies. She did like acid with Cody in her stomach. Like she had 2 abortions. Like my sister was a mess. Like she did like lots of drugs. I was the opposite. Okay. Like, you know how you all go through phases, but you're not like an addict and you don't like need it. So it's just like, I was never one for that addictive personality. I don't do drugs. And it's like her drug use and then her procreating them, as well as my ex brother in law, ruined my upbringing, and she never paid for it. Like her kids should have been in, DCF should have taken Cody and Christian away. As well as, they should have never projected this narrative onto me. But this is like what energy vampires do. They will try to ruin your life. They're just disgusting. It's disgusting energy. So where she'll turn the TV up really loud and have the dog barking, so it'll ruin my video, so I can't get my truth and my voice out. And they'll try to trap me, and then they'll still try to siphon off my energy cord right here. This is why I don't have people in this house, because they will see it and then they will try to break that up too. Or they'll try to befriend them. Like, how weird is it to try to like take like, you're someone else's friend and then hang out with them without you even knowing? Like, it's fucking weird, And I'm such a truth teller. I'm such a truth teller that I cannot lie for the life of me. So this is part of my journey and my story with you. I know that it was kind of heightened because this is what the energy vampires have been doing to me. I've been emotionally abused. Okay, I've been rage baited. Whether they use the dog as a weapon, or they throw my stuff away, or they feed people false narratives saying I can't take care of my kids. All of this is fathomed lies. To the point where I get archonically, attacked, and they defame my character. When I was followed, she was trying to get me back here. So when I was with Juan Carlos, she tried so hard to find out where his address was. I moved all the way to Champions Gate, Davenport. He was 40 and I was 37 at the time. And to you young Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, it's really not that old. So I don't want to hear it. When you get this age, my body, I feel better than ever. I feel better than I was when I was 30 or 27. Like I look good. I eat well. Like I had spinach leaves and sprinkled with lemon today, and I juice a lot, and then I have to go for like long walks, like in the winter, like twice a week, or if it was summertime, because I don't have a gym membership, but it's just like, don't do that. So I'm trying to heal from all of this. Yeah, so don't ever let anyone bring you down. Don't ever let anyone have any type of reverence over your life. Always stand up and speak your truth. I want to do a Reiki cord cutting. I want to find my lapis lazulis, and I want to come back with that in one of my next sessions, you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for existing, and thank you so much for being here. Like and subscribe. I'm going to leave my links down below. You guys, don't ever let anyone suck your chi life force energy. They can't suck your chi life force energy if you don't allow it. But the more sensitive you are with gifts, though, sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes they do things to make you upset. And this would put anyone in a distressed state emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Okay, so I love you guys. Until next time.